Hello, everyone. I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Citizen Sleeper 2. Last episode, quite a few things happened. We went back to the Spire and handed over the spores that we needed to hand over. When we did, he said, go back to the Greenway, see if they can help us out, give them these spores, and help them out first. On our way back, we went and picked up all of the step silk bits that were needed by Greenway and brought them back. It'll be another 6 cycles before we see any results, so we're gonna go somewhere else for that. Also, we have a pet cat now. Because kitty. That said, with nothing else to do here, and nothing else to do in any of the stuff up here, we only have 2 places left to go. The Hollow and the Scatter Yards. Spoof transponder required for Utsubo territory. Noted. But the Hollow is where we're going to go next. We do have a quest there that we can work on. Sleeper. God, those are good rolls. Yujin takes you aside. I'm going to head into the Radius Markets to find my contact, the one with the data on Aphelion. You should come with. 2 sets of eyes are better than 1. Who is this contact, anyway? You know how it is. A man never reveals his contacts. Yujin winks. He's just an old friend, one I've traded favors with a few times, and who has a good nose for data trails. But trails run cold quickly, so we should get on his. Yujin grins and heads for the airlock. You watch him go, unsure what his swagger might hide. But you've come this far with him. Maybe it's time to see where it all leads. I am curious if there's... Nope, there's nothing here. So we've got the Hollow Core and Radius Markets. We may as well explore the Hollow Core first. Let's see. The Hollow, with its brash scrap dealers, is intimidating to newcomers, but spend a little time here and you'll find your place. We can explore the Axis. While the Shell is mostly housing and infrastructure, the Hollow's Axis is where traders, spacers, and scavengers dock and meet. Or we can intercept signals. The locals bounce signals off the inside of the Hollow's shell, from pirate radio to shop adverts. Tuning in might teach you something. Over here, we have the markets. Yujin's signal chaser went dark. It'll take some time and work to find out why and where he is hiding. So, you can ask around. The market has plenty of stalls and they're regulars. One of them must know something about Yujin's contact. Or you can watch the markets. The bustle of the markets looks like chaos, but over time you might be able to notice the patterns and spot Yujin's missing contact. I think I'll look at the Hollow Core first. We can intercept signals here. Ooh, you are blasted with a cacophonous broadcast from a club. You better be more careful. Alright, explore the Axis. You notice the Axis is marked with sigils that indicate the direction, sunward or starward, of the traffic. This helps a lot. Intercept signals again. There's a certain charm to the jingles, monologues, and music that bounce around the inside of the Hollow. And over here, you can find your way around the Hollow's strange architecture well enough to get what you need. So what do we got? We have Bella's Jetty. We can fill supplies and buy a meal here. Bella gets fresh supplies from Greenbelt, but it's what she does with them that impresses the customers, making a finely diced Shirazi salad. Okay, we'll be able to use that. We've also got a signal ship. We can sell Solheim data. The crew of the signal ship are always after Solheim data in case it contains transmission codes or ciphers. How much do I get for one? The crew eagerly accept the data and hand over the chits they owe you. 8 cryo. In order to collect signals, the signal ship must interface with the Hollow's decaying Solheim arrays. This is specialist work. Or the signal ship gathers broad spectrum signals from across the debris field. Sorting them is too much work for just the crew. We also have debris dealers. This is where we can fill up on fuel, buy scrap components, and sell processed scrap. The Hollow has plenty of raw scrap around, but high-quality processed plate is of significant value here. How much do I get for it? 30 cryo! That's pretty good, but I'm going to hold on to this. And the sunward pole. The signaling station in the pole is paying a small fee to anyone who helps seal up the damage sustained in a recent explosion. You have heard that a drifting Conway munition may have been responsible for the damage to the pole, but is that just a rumor? That's something I want to find the answer to. You make good progress, and the other volunteers are impressed. You get the feeling they've worked with a sleeper before. Well, that's one round done. I will go ahead and buy a meal to fill up on that. And I am going to have them scavenge fuel. And it's been a few cycles. I am going to go ahead and feed the cat. You put supplies into the special feeder bliss setup. The stray waits until you are outside the room to come eat. Okay. I'm curious to see what this is. Let's help with the repairs a bit. We even get some cryo from it, which is nice. The worst of the damage has been repaired, and the Hollow's pole can start to be repopulated. What do you mean fried, Kimball? Our station depends on that array. The voice echoes out of one of the sunward pulsed cramped bays tucked up in the ceiling of the Hollow. Though you are tired from a shift spent sealing leaks in this shattered section of the station, you still can't help but listen in. I have been patient, Kimball, but now, with the repairs almost done, you're telling me we can't broadcast anyway? The voice comes from a doorway nearby, and as you float past, you glance inside. You see a woman facing away, addressing the back of a man half buried in the guts of some complex machine. I'm sorry, Kimball, but that just feels malicious. The man, presumably Kimball, mumbles something in response, though you do not catch it through the wires and mechanisms that surround him. The woman quickly turns and spots you peering in through the doorway. She gives you a curious look. Oh! She quickly smiles. Hello? She closes the distance. I'm Cyrene. I've seen you working on the repairs. We appreciate your efforts. Happy to help. Cyrene looks over her shoulder at Kimball and then back to you. How do you feel about the war in the inner system? I don't know much about it. I'm not surprised. That's how they want it to be. Did you know that Senatstadt has already started shipbuilding at Sinza? Cyrene watches you for your response. Sinza? One of the three sisters in orbit around Ember. She raises an eyebrow. You haven't left the belt, have you? You hear a grunt from Kimball, his head still buried in the machine's innards, and it is unclear if it is in reference to what was said or is just the sound of repairs going poorly. We, Cyrene places a hand on her chest, are the Helion Dispatches, the only pirate radio station in the Starward Belt. She lifts her chin proudly. We keep the system up to date on shifts in the system's power structures and the ongoing corporate war, all through the voices of the Helion system's own residents. Kimball grunts again, and a shower of sparks bursts from the machine behind Cyrene. Or at least we did before our transmitter got fried. Cyrene looks suddenly crestfallen. What happened? All that repair work you've been giving your time to? That was all caused by a Conway autonomous munition trained on our scent. Cyrene's eyes flash with anger. A mumble comes from Kimball as he pushes a handful of wiring out of his way. I do know that for sure, Kimball. Why else would it come so deep into the belt to hit the Hollow at our broadcast site? Cyrene turns back, hands on her hips. Kimball responds with a shrug. Either way, straight after that attack, we found our gear had been tampered with. Sabotaged. Kimball grunts. Yes, Kimball, or just looted. Either way, we are now quiet, and when we are quiet, the war continues unobserved. Cyrene folds her arms and looks away defeated. Well, my crew is looking for work. I'm sure you are, same as any other crew in the belt. But trust me when I say pirate radio does not pay. Look, we need a new broadcast array. A better broadcast array. Cyrene glances over her shoulder. We don't quite have the reach we'd like. Where you get one, that's another problem. We're talking pre-collapse tech here. It's not something we can just build ourselves. Kimball mutters something from the depths of the machine. Yeah, Holmes Rock isn't a bad idea. It used to be a relay station for Solheim, so it stands to reason they'd have arrays. And then there's the terminal there. Kimball's been bugging me to dig out some engine components for him to crack open and use in his repairs. God knows what kind of repairs he'd need those for, but that's what he says. Cyrene looks over her shoulder at Kimball, but receives no response. You both stare at his broad shoulders for a moment as a thin trail of smoke begins to emerge from the machine. Now, maybe we can do a little fundraising here on the Hollow. What we can get, we'll happily hand over. But I'm telling you now, it won't be a lot. I'll see what I can do. We'd appreciate it. Hell, the people of the Hellion system would appreciate it. She glances over her shoulder. I think Kimball would appreciate it too. You leave Cyrene and Kimball to their repairs, making note of the engine components and wideband array they will need to get back on the air. It's hard to tell if the job will be worth your time, but then again, someone as knowledgeable as Cyrene might be a useful asset. I'd argue so. Is that a major or a minor? Help Hellion dispatches. It's a minor. Get the array from Holmes Rock. Kimball wants a powerful array from Holmes Rock to extend the range of the Hellion dispatches to the entire belt. And Kimball needs engine components for his unusual jury rig transmitter. I'm unsure he's going to use them. Okay. That we actually have. There we go. Kimball has all the components he needs to repair the transmitter. Now we need to go to Holmes Rock to find the Hellion dispatches, which we will be able to do. It'll take some travel, but I think it's something we can do. For now, I can ask around here. You hear that a few merchants have moved on recently thanks to some aggressive new visitors. Have they been connected? I don't know. Let's see if we can watch the markets and notice anything. You notice that the signal chasers and data fences tend to keep themselves tucked away in little tunnels. Alright, well that's one cycle. Let's salvage some more... Let's scavenge some more fuel. Decent rolls, I suppose. Go ahead and ask around. Let's watch the markets there. That'll give me a plus. Among the crowds, you spot some unusual spacers with shaved heads and distinctive suits. Could they be important? Let's find out. Eugene gets your attention. It seems he's found something. The radius markets surround you and Eugene. Much of the architecture of the Starward Belt is built on a Solheim foundation. As a corporation from the core, Solheim's structures tend towards cardinal directions, towards respecting gravity in a place where it has little effect. But the radius markets have no such bias and no singular direction. Instead, the stalls and shops built from scrap frame and hull plate project outwards from all 8 of the surrounding walls. The effect is overwhelming, with activity and interest in all directions. Between the windows that open to faint stars, scrap dealers, street food vendors, data fences, and tailors compete for the attention of the stream of customers drifting around you. Sleeper! Eugene draws close to get your attention, his voice barely raised. Take a look. He jerks his head, motioning down the market. You refocus your attention, your eyes drawn to a group of dark-suited spacers with shaved heads. 5 of them gather around another retreating figure. The spacers are noticeably distinct from the rest of the crowd, their tight and complex suits kept in pristine condition, and all in the same design. A rarity amidst the Starward Belt's ramshackle fashions. You see one of them is gesticulating aggressively, chopping the air with his hand. Eugene nudges you again. Not the singers. You glance at him, unsure of that term. The one they are threatening. Eugene starts to move forward, his eyes fixed on the group. That's my contact. You turn back to the group, the singers as Eugene called them, and see they are rounding on the figure now. Their body language is clear. This is about to come to blows. Eugene clearly sees the shift too. Before you can say a word, he is off, gliding hard through the crowds towards them. You give chase without thinking, kicking off the nearest strut and angling yourself through the central void of the market behind Eugene. Eugene doesn't stop. He barrels straight into the singers, sending two of them spinning into the crowd to a chorus of shouts and protests. Obviously, we're going to try to calm the situation. You hold out your arms and try to talk them down, calling to Eugene. The singers gather around you, but they don't start throwing punches. Yet. Peter! Well, that's someone I didn't expect. Singers! Ember's song! Oh, I get it now! One of them comes forward, meeting your eye. You hear one of the others call him Peter. Their leader, perhaps? This idiot with you? Peter nods towards Eugene, who is wrestling with one of the crew. He whistles and the singer disengages and moves away. Yes. Can you ask him to calm down, please? You see Peter's hand is resting on a dark shape at his hip. So, Peter looks between the two of you. Do you have a reason for interrupting my business? He gestures around, and while some people have moved on, a few are hanging back to watch what comes next. You were about to jump my friend. Eugene nods at the contact, who is quietly watching with a concerned look on his face. The comment sends a small rumble of conversation around the remaining crowd. It seems the singers aren't so popular here. I think you misunderstood. We were simply asking for information. He shoots a sharp smile at the contact. I think Lewis here has told you everything he is happy to share. Eugene shoots a glare at his contact, who nods sheepishly. Peter looks between all of you, and then surveys the crowd. One of the singers starts to interrupt, but Peter raises a hand and silences them. See you around, then. He smiles a sharp smile at Eugene and leads the other singers away into the crowd, which parts slightly as they enter it. Lewis! Eugene rounds in the smaller figure. How about... Not here, Lewis interrupts. He sighs. Come with me. Lewis leads you away from the open market, most of the crowd having dispersed, into a small passageway. He finds a hatch, opens it, and beckons you both through before slipping inside, closing it behind you. So, what business did you have with the singers? Eugene perches on a stool in the small workshop, picking up a tool from the mag strip above the bench and turning it over in his hands. Singers? Is that what you call them? Lewis looks nervous. The first I've known of them is when they turned up a few cycles back and started pressing me for info. I've run into some singers before. Not these ones, but they all dress the same. Eugene glances between you and Lewis. They are refugees out of Ember's Song, one of the moons of that gas giant in the inner system. Their moon is a volcanic hellhole, so while these guys are refugees, fleeing the war like most, they tend to be tough as hell, and aren't used to being told no. That part checks out. Lewis smiles a weak smile. They've been pressing me for data for cycles, ever since they showed up. My data. Eugene clicks the tool back on the mag strip and fixes Lewis with a hard stare. You've been shopping it around then? Trying to drive a bidding war? Lewis holds up his hand. No. Nothing like that. He is afraid of Eugene, and you worry why that might be. I just wanted someone to verify the data. I asked around. Someone I showed it to, well, they mentioned a fraction drive. You see Eugene bristle with anger. Lewis keeps talking, speeding up. That was all. But a couple of seconds later, these singers, as you call them, started showing up, and I had to hide myself away. Hard to run a data business when you can't even go out to meet your clients. Where's the data now? Lewis turns to you, seemingly glad not to have to look at the angry Eugene. I have it, don't you worry, and it comes with a hell of a story. The friend I showed it to, he told me he's heard about that ship before, mostly what he thought were rumors about a fraction drive ship. Apparently, when Solheim collapsed, there was a struggle over who got to take it. 2 execs from the old corporate hierarchy wanted it, and some of their underlings found out about it too. Those wrecks you visited, that was the site of a battle over the thing. The ship was a hot ticket even then. You think back to the twisted and blasted remains of the ships, the wreckage strewn across the asteroid. I wonder how many died to try to get the Aphelion Path and its golden drive. Seems like both the execs got spaced, but someone came back later, slipped the ship out of the wreck that was carrying it. Here's the funny thing. Rather than use it, they dismantled it, took the ship apart here at the Hollow. Hell, there's probably strut work from the Aphelion Path in this very station. Lewis looks around at the salvage compartment you were all inside. So, it's gone? Not quite. Lewis smiles, enjoying telling the story now. They weren't stupid enough to dismantle an interstellar drive. The story goes that they buried it on a rock out in the shoals, totally unmarked. With thousands of rocks out there, they could leave it as long as they wanted and come back when they were ready. Thing is, they never came back. Eugen finishes the sentence, his anger fading now. Bingo! Lewis grins as he holds up a thumbnail drive. And I've got the coordinates of the beacon that will lead you there. Eugen snatches it from his fingers. Should have led with that. That's just the start of the trail, no doubt, but it'll get you there if you manage to follow it. Eugen nods at you and goes to leave, his hands immediately on the container hatch. Hey, aren't you gonna pay for that? Not after you leaked that the fraction drive exists to your friend, the singers, and anyone else who's looking, no. Eugen pulls the door open. Keep it quiet next time. Lewis turns to you. Come on, friend, the singers chased away my clients! He shows you his upturned palms. 50 cryo for the effort, or just whatever you have, I'll take it. I'm desperate. I'll pay him. You pass him a stack of chits, and he clasps your hands. I appreciate it. He looks over your shoulder to see if Eugen is still there. Hey, look. Be careful with that one, alright? He's not to be trusted. You turn, and Eugen is already gone. You follow him out of the container. Time to go find a fraction drive. New contract on map. The Aphelion beacon is there. This is it, the first beacon in the trail that leads to the Aphelion Path's fraction drive. Eugen is eager to get there ahead of the singers and anyone else. So that's what we're going to be doing next. I don't think... Well, alright, we do have the signal ship. We can do some work there. I can fill up on supplies here. Sounds like a good idea. And I can fill up on fuel. Sounds good to me. And I am going to go ahead. I will do some array alignment. That was bad. That was also bad. Okay, tell you what. I am going to end this episode here. Next episode, we'll see... I know the episode's a little shorter, but it's fine. Next episode, we'll see if we can get out there and get this first beacon. Till then, I am Chester44. I'll send in his fly. This has been a Let's Play of Citizen Sleeper 2, and I shall see you all next time.